This is episode 2 of Energy First with Sarah and Jen. We just want to welcome everybody. Obviously, I am Jennifer McIntyre Morris.
I'm Sarah Phillips.
And our special guest today is Mark Mormo from Deep Well Services. Again, I just wanted to reiterate the kind of basis of the purpose of the podcast and why we decided to do this. We have been terrible as an industry in explaining what we do and taking away some of the taboo-ness about our industry. We definitely need to become more transparent with things. So we're going to center on 3 pillars, and that's going to be education. Anything that has to do with either educating the public, the opportunities that we can provide as an industry to our local communities as far as careers are concerned. We are huge proponents of trade schools, so we'll certainly touch on that over a few episodes. And then legislation, that's legislation that is either pending in the industry or legislation that's currently in effect that is affecting our operations. And then the people. We're going to meet people like Mark, other individuals in the industry, and then we're actually going to go out on location and speak to some of the people that physically work in the industry as well.
Real guys.
Yeah, the real ones.
And girls.
Absolutely, the ones that are doing that work out there. Sarah, we usually want to touch on the upcoming events in the industry. I keep a running calendar of this on our website, which is www.sarahandjenconsulting.com. So you can find all of the links to these events there. But if you want to give a little run through of what's coming up.
So on February 22nd, we have the Go West Virginia Oil and Gas Day at the Legislature, Upper Lower Rotundas in Charleston, West Virginia. Also on February 22nd, we have the SPE Local Lectures ACES Delta Project, Low Carbon Green Hydrogen Energy Storage at Cephalo's in Carnegie, Pennsylvania. Also on February 22nd, we have the Women's Energy Network Pittsburgh Chapter Mentoring Program Overview from 5:30 to 7:30 in the Threadbare Cider House in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Definitely touch on that first event in March, I think, because the UGA event means that people are going to have to travel. So UGA is actually coming up at the beginning of March in Ohio. That's actually one of the oldest running conferences in the energy sector. You're going to get a lot of the OGs through there, guys that have been in the industry for a really, really long time. They always have a really good lineup of speakers for that as well. I'm going through for Thursday for sure. I'm going to go to the Mug Happy Hour. Are you coming through with me? You better come through with me.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. That's the right answer. And then before we jump into things, just to let everybody know that we are still looking for sponsors for the podcast. If you want to find a way to really reach everybody in the industry, we will be airing this on Anchor, Spotify, Facebook. It does go live on WMBS every Tuesday at 3:15. We will be pushing it through our Instagram, all of our other platforms. And I have a relatively lengthy following on all of those avenues. So if you want to reach everybody in Appalachia with what your company has coming up and what they're able to do, then consider being a sponsor. And then we are looking for some speakers. We have some wonderful people confirmed, which Sarah's going to go over. But we do have some spots still available. So if you would like to come on and get your message heard, tell the good word about oil and gas in Appalachia, please feel free to reach out to us. Sarah, who do we have confirmed kind of coming up as far as firm dates are concerned?
On February 28th, we have Kyle Flanagan.
Kyle is with Greylock. He is Director of Integrity and Compliance for their pipeline division.
On March 7th, we have Catherine Claver.
Anybody that knows Catherine, she's been in the industry for a long time. She does write for some of the local papers. She sat on many boards, and she has actually just been appointed to the board of Diversified. She's a wonderful lady. We're really looking forward to that one.
She was at Marcellus Shale Coalition.
She was, yeah. She was at Marcellus Shale Coalition for quite some time.
Okay. This next one, hopefully I don't butcher his name. But on March 14th, we have Yemi Akakubi.
Yemi works for CNX. He is their VP of Excellence, and he's going to come and talk to us about their company culture, something that Mark is going to share with us in regards to his company as well. I definitely think I'm excited to hear what Yemi has to say. They have some great programs going on over at CNX. And as far as operators are concerned, they definitely excel at that internal company culture that I know is a personal passion of yours.
On March 21st, we have Chris Halverson.
Yep, Chris is the CEO of Pin Oak Energy, another great company. He's very engaging and dynamic. So, and that's going to be in person here too. He wanted to do it in person, so we'll have Chris through for that one.
He's also, isn't he involved in Magellan Scientific, the cryptocurrency company?
He is. Yep, he's going to talk to us a little bit about that too.
And then on April 11th, we have John McEvers.
Yep, John is another one of the OGs. He's one of the, I met him probably around about the same time as yourself. And he, I don't even know what his specific title is now, but he's basically director of completions and drilling down at Intera Resources. And I don't know if he's going to be here in person or if he's going to join us virtually. I think he wants to attempt to come up and see us in person. So, but regardless, we're going to be super excited to have him on. So, without further ado, I think we kind of want to bring Mark into the conversation. Mark, again, thank you so much for being here.
Too.
Oh, yay!
Sent us.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. So just kind of to start things off, at every company you've worked for, you've had remarkable success, Mark. And what do you really attribute this to? Tell us a little bit about where you came from.
My father, he's my only hero on earth. I'm obviously my mother's a big part of that too. But my father he taught me the word relentless. Never give up. It's family. That is where I think, I have a servant mentality. I'm on earth to make other people's lives better. Grandmother told me that a long time ago, and it just always has stuck with me. Being at this company, it's been an amazing blessing to can change people's lives so much better. See someone start a company at maybe as a green hat, and 8 years later they're a supervisor, buying homes, taking care of their family. Just it's a great industry to be in. Really, from where I came from, it's just that servant mentality. It allows you to do that. This industry allows you to.
I agree. I mean, I have a degree in industrial photography, and I'm doing what I do now. I mean, there are so many people that set out on a different path and have found their way into oil and gas, and it's given them a life that they didn't quite expect that they would be able to achieve. It's really pretty amazing. So, Mark, most successful people of your caliber have what we like to call a transition. Yes. Listen, when I first reached out to Mark, I was in those initial stages of my career where it was like throwing poo at the wall to see what sticks, right? So I was sending out all these emails and sending all of these calls. And he was one of like 3 of what I would call heavy hitters that actually answered me. And he answered me right away. And
servant mentality.
Absolutely. And treated me just like everybody else and was very responsive and listened to what it was that I was needing. And he actioned, everything that was within his power to help me with. And it just stuck with me. And so, in the future after that, I'd gone through a couple of like transitions within my career, and I maybe hadn't even spoken to Mark in a year, and I'd call him up and I'd like, Mark, can you come to lunch with me? Because I don't know what I'm doing and I need to talk to somebody. And he's like, yep, I'll be there, So he definitely practices what you preach.
You have to be genuine.
Yeah, you definitely are genuine. Absolutely. So like I was saying, most successful people of your caliber have what we call a tipping point where they experience a significant transition in their life, which serves as a catalyst to their success. For example, 1/3 of the U.S. presidents have had a parent die before turning 18. Did you have a tipping point in your life?
Nothing tragic.
Uh-huh.
Say, changed jobs. My first job really out of college, Maxim Crane.
Oh, yeah.
Really just about my whole career. Learned a lot there.
So what did you do there when you started?
I was accounting.
Okay.
Again, worst accountant But they were patient with me. I had a really good couple mentors there. One's Joe Vaccarello. I actually became a neighbor.
Aw.
Yeah, I would say when I left there, I was forced to go into I accepted a job into a company that wasn't the greatest. I won't name that one. It was a horrible experience.
I think we need those in our life, though, to temper and make us realize. Yeah.
Well, it taught me how not to treat people.
Yeah.
That company.
Yeah.
There I went on to Talisman, which was a wonderful company to work out. Great culture. President of the company said one time in a meeting, I want this to be the best job you've ever had. I tell everyone that at T-Puff. So, and there was nothing negative. Catastrophic.
And I don't think it has to be negative.
That, leaving that, taking a job that was just an extremely bad experience, and then going through service or the operator side prepared me for this. I'd see people, even on the operator side, treat service companies. And then, again, I just didn't want to I would never treat people that way. But we set up a company to add value. So many of the companies out there just want to get the job done. We want to.
And you add value to your employees as well as the people that you work for. And I think that is one of the kind of things that had always struck me about Deepwell.
Yeah, I don't look at myself as a CEO. I never have, never will. If you knew my background, you would be surprised that
Are there some stories back there that you're hiding from us?
You'd be surprised that I am where I am. But yeah, it's that servant mentality. It's culture. We truly do believe that this place is a family. I tell everybody that comes in, and people don't say this enough, I love them all. I love the people I work with. I hire people on, and they stick, and they have huge success. But it's a company that we want to make everybody better all the time. We spend a lot of money on continuous education groups. We're in Vistage. There's 25. We try to always just have fun.
Yeah.
And we are busy. We're very proud of what we have. I also, I think the biggest thing that we like to do is see people improve from one level to the next. And you have that career path. You actually add value every day you come into work. And in the energy industry, and you do things for people. Think about it. So many companies you work at, show up, you do some journal entries or whatever, you move on from there. We give people energy. We give them a quality of life. It's the greatest industry to be in my opinion. It makes a difference every day, directly and indirectly. We can talk about our guys getting a per diem every day, and they go and spend it in the community. We have hotels, gas.
You guys had just posted something about that, and it really struck me because I'm constantly trying to explain to people about the value that we add to our communities here as an industry, and there are so many different levels to that. And that was just such a perfect small snapshot. And what it was, I guess you guys did a review of what you had spent locally in the last year, and it was millions of dollars.
Over 10.
Yeah, for one service company, and there are hundreds of service companies in this area.
It's a smaller type company. Think of, some of the bigger ones that come in spend $100 million.
Yeah, it's really kind of crazy. And I don't think people really grasp the full scope and breadth of the difference that they're making.
You think about all of the businesses local, just even Sealy and Opal headquarters, barbershop to all the restaurants, the bars.
Your headquarters is gargantuan. It's really impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran around it and I got out of breath.
We started in 2012. Into 2013, we 10,000 square feet, close to 200,000.
That's crazy. That's good, though. That's good growth. Absolutely. Before you started working with Deepwell, which was a service company, we talked about you being at Talisman, and I've seen lots of people that have made that transition. Either they started as an operator and moved to a service provider, or vice versa. And it does tend to be a really difficult transition for people to move from an on-street.
That you started a service company, especially as an engineer, they trade you up like Schlumberger. You started Schlumberger, and then you moved to an operator, which is this, very sought after position.
Well, I really had to take the job that I at Talisman because it was such a bad job at prior.
So you're telling me you would have taken anything that was offered to you, Mark, to get them
Probably would have been to the Army to get out.
Really? Were you considering it? Oh.
Wow.
You're a big guy. You would have been
You would have been fine. Yeah, you would have been fine.
It would have been too big of a workout. But yeah. So, but I think I'm lucky to have worked at Talisman because they taught me so much about the industry and being able what we learned there, and being able to go and really we built Deepwell based off of what I experienced it.
I can see the synergies because I have worked for Talisman and then Repsol, and I can see the parallels between
great culture, high technical side of things. So we set people up that way. So yeah, I'd love being the service side of things. I really do. Not when the operators beat us up on price.
I don't think anybody does.
For the things that we can do and what we have done, the difference we make. We've really revolutionized how people complete wells.
Mm-hmm.
Or side of the long laterals. Have to drill as many, and you're out there. We're a company that we do. That's why it's this. We succeeded so much.
And you guys have traditionally, and I've talked to John, I've talked to yourself about this. You haven't been the cheapest in the industry, and you're fine with that. Yeah, absolutely.
We have to be expensive. We spend so much money on the training. Hired 430 people last year. It's $1,500 to hire one person.
Oh yeah, and that's if they start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, never going to be the cheapest. We're proud to be the most expensive, but we add so much value.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I had a guy. I'm not going to say what operator. I'm not going to say what service company, but I worked with him when he was at that operator. And then for some reason, service companies think they can pull these guys from operators and pay them like $300,000. They're going to bring all this business with them when really they only know like one group of people that they used to work with, and they don't know everybody in the industry. And he called me after he'd been in the job for like 2 months, and he's like, Jen, I swear to goodness, if I ever go back to an operator, I will answer every single call and every single email that I ever receive. I'm like, I'm going to make you write it down and sign it so that I have that in writing for when you go back there.
Mark did that for you before he even experienced working for a service company, right?
No, he was at Deepwell. But he helped me with Talisman.
Oh, okay.
And they obviously liked him so much that they were happy to listen to what he said.
Did you learn your servant mentality from Talisman?
No, that came from my grandmother.
Oh.
So how many people did you say you employ right now?
We have 530.
And how many of those, what portion of those do you think come from the local population here?
40 from the tri-state area.
Yeah.
50%.
That's phenomenal. Those are a lot of good paying jobs for people in this area.
Western Pennsylvania person. Love and Western Pennsylvania people.
I just think it's crazy that your retention, your average fleet, what was it, 3.3 years?
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's crazy. For
any industry, right? But especially ours, the turnover ratio for field guys is just real.
Yep. We have a bunch of guys that have been there 10 years, as long as I have. We're very proud of that. A lot of the new people you hire in the industry, it's a little bit harder to keep. If we keep somebody 90 days, they're going to stay.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys reward your employees for staying too. You have a whole program for that.
And you get a 5-year ring. Every 2 years after that, they get diamonds into the ring.
They get diamonds?
Diamond. One or two, I think 2 diamonds for every
Yeah, it's really cool. Have you seen the post? Because they post it one of the guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. The symbolism and everything and the recognition, that's supposed to be one of the best ways to retain
It really is. That's been one of the most popular things done.
And you guys do outreach programs in local schools and things like that too, don't you?
Right. Yeah. We do colleges, go and teach. Snubbing 101, we call it. Guys do that. We do go into the high schools. We try to recruit from the high schools, but even the colleges. We've Penn State, West Virginia, Pitt. We taught them or taught the class at all of those.
And does that actually do they get credit for those classes? Okay.
For taking the class.
Yeah. And then I have also seen that you guys will have groups of those same students physically out to
the training center.
Mm-hmm.
We have a virtual reality simulator. Can go in and actually feels like you're up in the air operating.
I've seen it. I've never had a chance on it. I will.
Yeah, I want to go to that so bad. I want to learn. And it's such a great idea because it's safe. Snubbing isn't,
That's why safety is so important in snubbing and having that culture of peace, right?
Yeah.
Well, we actually try not to use the word snubbing. We call them hydraulic completion units because snubbing's actually thought of as a bad thing.
Oh. It's not a bad thing. It's just traditionally been a higher risk activity in our industry, right?
Yeah, but usually with people we're snubbing, there's a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I like that. That's all about the optics. It's all about how you market it, right? Yeah, absolutely.
That's why it's so imperative to have that excellent training program because you need to mitigate your risks.
Oh, the training program we have is IATC accredited. It's one of the country. I think we are the only workover company in North America that have an accredited training.
That's great.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So then the individuals that physically work for Deepwell are themselves accredited once they've gone through that program?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that is. That means that regardless, and obviously you want them to stay with you, and the majority of them do stay with you, but you're giving them a personal or a permanent enrichment that is theirs. Yeah, that's really cool.
And you guys have a well, right?
A live well.
A live well.
A training well.
Is that up in Zelienople?
Yes.
I've seen.
Have you been up?
Yeah, well, yeah. I just stalked you guys, and then I went for. I did. My stepgirls go up there, so I was running, and I ran through your yard, and then some guy followed me in a truck to make sure I wasn't something crazy.
I'm sure.
I wish I'd known because I would have called him and told him, yes, she is crazy. Keep a really close eye on her.
No, it's cool. Their yard is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, again, I don't know of a well side of Texas that's a training company that has a training.
It's a blessing to have that here, both for your employees as well as for those younger individuals just to really...
We'll bring the local high schools out, kids that about going to college.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, come work it. We had a bunch of kids today from CNX community program that they do. They're up there going through the well and being trained on what it'd be like to be in the oil field.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys ever considered, not that I'm saying one way or the other, but have you ever considered having like a smaller open day to allow individuals to see what it is that you do? My reason for saying that is I think one of the things that we have been terrible at doing as an industry is there's this mystery around what we do. And I understand it's dangerous. You can't have random people walking around our locations, but there has to be some sort of concerted effort from service companies, from operators, from all of these individuals to not make it this mysterious, scary thing, because it's not. I mean, we are very good at what we do. The majority of people who work in this industry work really hard at constantly becoming better at what we do. So we really need to be better at painting that picture.
Spreading the word.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we do. We think about it all the time. Mentorship program that CNX does.
It's an amazing program.
20 kids that are up there today,
mm-hmm.
and they're seeing what life would be like in the oil field.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we do that. We do that. The high schools bring some of those in. the colleges we bring in. Teal College is where I went. We bring them down.
So tell me a little bit, and you don't have to name names, but we were talking over lunch, and you had mentioned some of the guys that you have at Deepwell that had started in a certain position, and now they're doing something else. And I think that really helps kind of tell the story both about Deepwell, but about the opportunities that you can gain in this industry.
That's right. Well, our president doesn't have a college education, came from the field. Smartest guys you'll ever talk to. We have vice presidents that don't have college education. They started in the field with us on our executive team. They're owners in Deepwell. John Sabo came in as everybody knows his name. He came in as safety, right?
Hey, John. Yeah. We love John.
John came in as safety. He's found his passion in the sales side of things. $200 million worth of activity comes out what John's managing right now. So everybody on our executive team started in a different position. This is the role they're in now. They've never been in those roles.
That's amazing.
So,
and I think that's just a very good story to be telling young people in this area as far as the potential.
Oh, it's amazing potential. You come out of college now and you're $200,000 in debt. I do that when you go work at a company like ours, take a career path. It's not the easiest job in the field. It's rough. You can make it through there, and you can actually withstand, I guess, working outside and in all elements, and they don't stop when the weather's 50 below, right? They have that opportunity to move way up. Field, we have 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on the executive, 5 people on the executive team that were field, and they're owners in Deepwell.
Yeah, I mean, that's just phenomenal. It's an amazing story to hear, and it may be a slightly higher percentage of that at Deepwell, but I have seen stories like that across the board in this industry. I mean, you look at myself, like I said, I had a degree in photography. Like, what the heck? I take pretty pictures of rigs. And I have become successful and learned things that I never thought that I would be capable of being involved in. So I do think that we're relatively unique as an industry for that.
You have every opportunity.
Yes.
And it's not $10 an hour. You can make some serious money in this industry, and it's extremely rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the job security is amazing, right?
Well, you have your cycles.
Well,
the ups and downs, but it always bounces back. And if you're a company like ours where you don't have to lay people off, you always find a way to succeed, get through the downturns. You can have a career for as long as you.
Well, like if you graduate with a photography degree, you're not going to go into photography. You know what I'm saying? So you're like $200,000 in debt, whereas you can graduate high school, go straight into Deepwell, excel, and make way more than your counterparts who are.
How many kids or companies or industries can say, okay, let's go into either the military and recruit, or even the inner city, and give a kid probably has never seen 50,000 in his household, and they can making it at 18, 19 years old. How great is that?
Buy their mom a house.
Yeah. And really build a family. Can really build a career and take care of a family because of this industry. It's just remarkable.
Yeah, I agree. And I still have guys that I met years and years ago that will reach out and say thank you or talk about where they are now. And I'm just honored to kind of have met them and along that path of their journey, for sure.
Well, you develop a family. Like, it is rough whenever you work in the field, but you're working so long, and it isn't just rough. Like, you have to be able to have the grit to withstand how rough the field is, but it is also,
it's worth it.
It's worth it, and it feels
good. It's like a
rather for trust.
Yeah,
because it is. And people, for as big as energy is worldwide, the oil field is small.
It is.
And
That can be good and that can be bad.
but everybody knows everyone, and at
Yeah.
the end, you want to take care of each other.
Absolutely. And that includes on all fronts. That's personally, that's mentally, that's financially, that's in all ways, shapes, and forms. I think that's why the culture within your company is so striking to me, because it fits into so many of those categories of taking care, right? That's just really important. Absolutely really important. So we touched on, how much you guys have managed to give back to the local communities, which I think is super important. Tell me a little bit, we were talking again at lunch about some of the exciting things that you guys have kind of coming up in the near future. We kind of want to hear what the future plans of Deepwell are looking like.
Well, as we talked to Sarah earlier, we've started a new engineering department, business intel, analyzing. We have a database of, I think, 4,000 wells that we've done. That's going to be, again, a true value add, be a difference maker. Where we can actually go out and, before the well's even drilled, if you drill it this way, we can model it out. We can tell people, hey, we're going to be able to do this in 2.1 days. It's going to cost you this.
That's crazy.
That is really adding value to a company, to our customers.
Just look at how that's going to influence their budgets and things like that, how accurate it's going to be.
Well, we have that plan where we have plans to possibly merge with some companies, maybe even be in the Middle East by the end of the year. We'll be working for Saudi Aramco.
That's so exciting. You're one of 4, right?
4, yep. And the other 4, like Halliburton, Schlumberger.
Oh.
Some big companies, right?
And that's not a Deepwell. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way. And not that they're not great companies. It's just a completely different mentality and different level, right?
Different culture.
Yeah.
You're a number at these other companies.
A lot of people say that. We have a lot of people who came from Halliburton. You always hear that, and you don't want that to ever become your company.
Well, you better not let it happen to Deepwell. Yeah. You need to retain what you definitely have here.
Yeah, we're going to sell some more equipment to Argentina. We've been training their local unions for the last 3 years. So we have that coming, and moving into the Haynesville. We have a yard down there now. There's a lot happening.
I'm excited to hear that you guys are stretching your wings so far, just because even the idea of bringing some of the safety protocols and things that we do here to these other places that maybe haven't developed the programs or spent the time that we have in doing those types of things here, to be able to share that knowledge and that experience in these other areas, I think is going to be huge. Yeah.
And cost saving.
That's right.
Absolutely. So you said you didn't mention Australia.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're working on that.
Has graciously accepted our proposal to do a remote podcast.
Amy, you want to come?
In Australia. I think I might propose also Argentina.
Argentina is a great place.
Yeah. Have you been down there for some of your activity?
Some of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Yeah. I haven't been. That's kind of like one of the key areas that I want to go. Because I was in Scotland for so long, I got to see a great bit of Europe, but I want to go to South America. Like, I want to see this side of everything. Yeah.
Beautiful country.
I just want to see our activity in these other places too. I mean, I was on a drilling location just outside of London, and that was like seriously eye-opening. They literally had steel walls around the drilling location to stop people from... to stop people from attacking the location.
Like LA. And the Gamma, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where they...
And then they had to bring us in on like armored buses because there were people beating on the sides of the vehicles as we were going in.
Look at them now.
Well, guys, this is, again, I'm blessed. I'm glad that I went through that experience, because what I truly see happening is if we don't become better at selling ourselves here, that same thing is going to happen here.
Eating bugs.
Yes,
right?
Eating bugs.
That's a real thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's another thing about living over there. And this is, I've been back 10 years now, 12 years ago. It was literally commonplace in the news to talk about how many elderly people froze to death the night before. like common, like telling the weather. How
That's
many
Tuesday.
people? Correct.
Typical Tuesday.
Yes, it was absolutely insane, and that was caused by the sheer cost of energy over there. And elderly people, just like you've seen in the northeast of this country over this last winter, they had a choice between buying food or heating their homes, and they chose to eat, and they did not survive. And that is, I lived through it. So again, I think God was thinking of something and putting me in that scenario and letting me physically firsthand experience some of those experiences. And it's just strengthened my resolve for the mission that we have here to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Everyone that's against fossil fuel should at least educate themselves
100%.
how other people,
Yes, absolutely.
over 1 billion people, cook with their dung.
Yeah.
Or animal dung.
3 million people die worldwide from inhaling particulate matter from not having anything to cook with, besides dung or wood or.
Our people over here have never gone through that.
No.
Yeah, only 1 billion people live the way that we do. A life of luxury.
Yeah, but we're very blessed to have it here.
We are, but we forget that we're very blessed. Like, could you imagine our grandmothers not having a microwave, and then their grandmothers not like the life expectancy has doubled since the oil and gas has been discovered.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. And even since 1970, China and India, their life expectancy has gone up like 15 years because they've had access to oil and gas. And there are a lot of places in the world that don't at all.
That's right.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think that people are making those parallel connections to realize that that is what's actually causing these things to improve.
You wouldn't have anything, the stuff we're wearing or cell phones we wouldn't have. We'd be drinking water out of bottles.
Yeah.
We didn't have fossil fuels.
Yeah. I mean, it literally affects every single asset of our lives and our quality of life. Yeah.
You know what Alex Epstein said that I thought was super interesting? Anything that isn't easily identifiable, like a rock is a rock, has oil and gas proponents in it.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like, wood is wood, but this mic is oil and gas.
It is.
My extensions are oil and gas.
Listen, we're not going back to pre-extensions. That's not happening.
Right? We need our extensions or just our water. Like, being able to refine our water is just, you need machines and you need the food for the machines.
True.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
That was great.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything else you want to share with us, Mark, about Deep Well? We really appreciate you coming on and talking to us.
Yeah, and funding our trip to Australia. We appreciate that.
Both of you were doing this. Thank you.
Yeah, it's super important, very close to our hearts, and we're just going to keep going and going. There's not going to be any stopping us. I appreciate that. We both appreciate that very much. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Again, that was Mark Marmo with Deep Well Services. This is Jennifer McIntyre Morris and
Sarah Phillips.
And we will have another episode for you next week. My brain is complete mush because I've been working 27,000 hours a day. Do we have someone confirmed for next Tuesday, or are we still looking for a speaker?
I think we have someone confirmed. What is next Tuesday? The 28th?
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Flanagan.
Woo! Kyle is absolutely amazing. I hope he actually comes up and does it live with us. And if the weather's good, he'll probably make you go golfing with him because he loves golfing.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. You'll get on well. Yeah.
Oh, pizzle.
You'll make him happy. Again, thanks everybody for joining us, and we will join you next week.